Hello, welcome back. My name is Josh. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, I post videos every day, and today I want to talk about something that's a little bit more tough to talk about. So, there's a lot of stigma around it, and it's not always easy to talk about these things, but I think for me, I really wanted to talk about this topic because it's something that affected me a lot, and I think it's something that I have a really unique perspective on. And I just wanted to share kind of my story and the things that I did to control my mental health and to get out of those periods of my life where I was dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression, and life was pretty tough, and now I'm able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I wanted to share a few things that helped me a lot and that could potentially help someone else who is going through the same things right now. And yeah, so first of all, I want to say I'm not like a licensed therapist in any way, but I just want to share my experience, and hopefully my perspective on this situation could potentially help someone else out, and that's all I can really ask for. So I think if you were to take action on these things, you could definitely help these problems a lot. So I say let's fast forward a few years. I'd say freshman, sophomore year of high school, where I was going through a lot of anxiety. I had just a lot of negative thoughts about myself, and it was honestly pretty bad, and it would be to the point where I would just come home and I would just stay in bed for just hours and even days at a time. And it was really tough because I just had these constant negative thoughts about myself. For example, I'd just be with a lot of people, and then someone would say something to me and it would just really stick with me. And whenever anyone would say something bad to me, I would just kind of internalize it a lot, and I just made it mean that there's something wrong with me. Why does no one like me? I'm stupid. All these just negative thoughts just constantly swirling my mind, and it just made it so hard to think, and I was just constantly in this state of just mental fog, and I just couldn't get anything done. I didn't have any real goals or aspirations, and it was honestly tough to go through that. And that's one of those things where the people around you don't really know what you're going through, but it's all on the inside. And I know a lot of people are going through that now, so hopefully this can help you by hearing my story and hearing how I was able to kind of confront that issue and go to a place where I am now. Obviously, if you watch my videos and stuff, I seem I'm really well put together, articulate, I'm creating content, I have a lot of goals, I'm very organized and focused, but it wasn't always easy. It took a lot of work for me to get from a place of negativity to where I am today. And yeah, it kind of started about a few years ago, back in that period of time, and so I started to get obsessed with self-development, and I would just watch a bunch of YouTube videos. I read a ton of books, podcasts, and just this whole self-development sphere of content. It really gave me hope because I was able to look at my life and see how I could improve myself little by little each day. And then when I would make that conscious effort to improve myself, then I felt like I could get out of this kind of funk I was in, and I felt like I really was finally starting to take steer of the ship instead of letting someone else steer it for me. And so when you start to work on yourself and improve yourself, and you become 1% better at something each day, then you're going to be able to really see some real change in how you think, how you act, just how you feel, just everything is going to change. So it was all about just taking action. And so I talked about this yesterday in a video, but it's this concept called physiology precedes neurology. And basically what that means is, so for example, you get out of bed or you stay in bed. So you do the 5-second rule to get out of bed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get out of bed. You physically move your body to take that first step. Or you sit in bed and your mind is just kind of mulling over. You're like, oh my God, I'm so comfortable. I don't want to get out of bed. But you just take the physical action to do it. So this is kind of with that whole self-development thing. When I started to improve myself by working out, reading books, journaling, meditating, I was able to get myself out of that mental fog, because when I was actually moving my body and taking action, then my mind would have to follow. And when I'm just laying in bed all day, my mind is just idle, then it's just going to be stuck in the same place, and you're never going to be able to see something from a different perspective if you're just sitting in the same place all day. So it was just forcing myself to get up and do that thing that I needed to do to get a little bit better. So I just started getting obsessed with that, and I watched a lot of videos, and those videos are kind of what inspired me to make YouTube videos as well, to help people who are kind of feeling in that funk and want to get out of it. So along with that, I just started to meditate a lot, and meditation is just also what took my life to the next level, because when you start to meditate, you start to realize that you're not your thoughts. You're not the thoughts that are going on in the back of your head, that little voice that's telling you that you suck and that all that. It's not you. You're the one that's observing those thoughts. So when you're able to meditate and put yourself in the present moment, then you're able to just watch those thoughts from a distance and not identify with them. So an exercise you can do is think in your head, what will my next thought be? Okay, and then did you notice a pause in your thoughts after that? Okay, and then say the same sentence, but slowly increase the space between the words. What will my next thought be? So you start to notice that there's space between your thoughts, and that stillness is what you tap into when you meditate. So you start to notice that when your mind isn't constantly running, you're able to put yourself in the present moment and just be completely still. And so when you do that, you're able to recognize that you have the power to change your thought patterns by feeding good information into your mind. When you're just negative and feeding negative content into your mind, then you're going to keep those negative thought patterns. But if you're meditating, you're reading books that are inspiring, then your thought patterns are going to slowly change over time, because what you focus on expands. So when you're meditating, you're able to focus on a certain thing. That thing will literally expand in your mind. So for example, say your family gets a new car, you get a new Volkswagen, and then when your family gets that car, you start to notice that car more. Like on the street, you're like, oh, there's that car. But you didn't really notice it before. So that's kind of what meditation brings you to. So you're able to notice those positive things in your life. So when you put your attention on them, you start to actually see them more. Because we see thousands of things every second, but what you actually put your focus on will expand in your mind. Yeah, it's cool stuff. It seems pretty simple, but people don't fully understand this. And when you start to meditate, you will get this. And that's really what brought me to the next level, because I was just able to craft my own reality by focusing on things that I wanted to see more of. And when you practice gratitude and you appreciate the things in your life that you want to see more of, then they'll literally expand in your mind, and then they'll expand in your physical reality. So yeah, I say if you're new to meditation, one, either just set a timer for 10 minutes, just sit in a chair and just stay completely still for like 10, 15 minutes. Don't focus on anything else except staying still. And that's it. Or go to YouTube and search up like a guided meditation. I did a lot of those. I still do them sometimes, but those are really helpful if you're just beginning. So yeah, meditation, I can't describe, it's really hard to explain the feeling when you become more present and you're able to enjoy the present moment. But just try meditating if you're struggling with, I think everyone needs to meditate, not even if you're struggling with anxiety or whatever. Like, everyone needs to do it. You just need to do it. Especially in a world now where everything's moving so fast, there's such fast access to information where you can just have information at your fingertips. So you need to be able to practice that stillness and find it in your day-to-day life and just appreciate everything that is just as it is. Yeah. So that's it. And then along with that, the next thing that helped me a lot is just I started to create more than I consume. So I've always loved playing music. I played guitar. I ran a clothing brand for a while that I loved doing that. And there's a lot of businesses here and there that I would love to start. And so when I was creating something, instead of constantly consuming, it just put me in a much different mind state. So when you're consuming all the time, you're not really in control of your reality. You're letting other people steer the ship for you. But when you're creating something, then you're picking up the pen to write your own reality. You're not having someone else write it for you. So the more you're able to create instead of consume, you're able to have more control, like literally over your reality. Because when you're creating, you're entering this flow state where your brain kind of shuts off and you're allowing your higher self to come out and contribute your highest contribution to the world. And that sounds like super esoteric and out there, but like actually like starting these YouTube videos, like running businesses, like it just gave me so much more fire because I was creating something that I was like physically in front of me and I was able to be proud of it. I was like, damn, like I really did that. Like I need to be grateful for everything I've done and how like talented I am. Like not to gas myself up, but like you gotta hype yourself up from time to time. Like that's all there is to it. So when you're able to, so all this kind of goes into the same category of writing your own reality. So all these things come together and you're able to write your own story instead of letting someone else do it. Because when you meditate, you're present, you're able to control your thoughts and emotions more. You're creating, you're just entering this completely different world than before. Because before, I just felt like I was kind of being pushed through life, just taking what life threw at me and just rolling with the punches. And I felt like I was the victim. But this whole victim mentality, it's got to go. It's old. It's outdated. You are not the victim. You're the creator. So start writing your own story, for real. You can change those thoughts that are in your head by placing your awareness somewhere else. You are not your thoughts. You're just the one observing them and identifying with them. Yeah. So, like, that's pretty powerful stuff. If you have any questions about this, like, DM me on Instagram. Links in the bio. And, yeah. Like, this is the stuff, like, I really want to help people with. And so, yeah, that's about it. So, like, I'm not qualified to, like, give advice on anxiety or depression, obviously, but I feel like I have a lot of insight into ways you could potentially get out of it if you're willing to take the action to do those things. So, thank you for watching this. Honestly, like, videos like this aren't too easy to make, but, like, I want to help, and I feel like my perspective on this issue is just a lot different than what other people are going to tell you. So, yeah, just take whatever it is with a grain of salt. Try some of this out if you're struggling with those things, and just let me know how it goes. Like, I'd love to hear, or if you just need someone to talk to, like, just DM me or text me. Like, I'd love to talk if you just need someone to talk to. I know, like, some people don't have that, and I'll see you tomorrow.